Well, I think we can begin now. So good day to everybody. Welcome everyone to this meeting from the International Urantia Association. We are going to begin another session of the Young Adults group today. Today with us we have Daniel Hussein, and the issue is synergy with the thought adjuster in day-to-day life. He's joining us from Nigeria, and he's going to provide us a great talk. Please go ahead, Hussein. Daniel.
Yeah, greetings to everyone on this call from all around the world. It's nice, really nice to have us all here today from different countries speaking different language. And as we've come today, may God reward our presence with insight and revelation and wisdom. So before I commence, I just want to share a brief story about myself. I'm Daniel Suseni from Nigeria. I'm 32 years old. I started reading the Urantia book 5 years ago in 2020 during the pandemic lockdown. I actually found the UB in December 2019, and the UB came as an answer to a prayer that I made, because at that point I got to a point where I I began to pray for something deeper, because I'd been on a 5 year truth seeking journey or 5 year truth seeking mission, where I was born in a traditional, conventional Pentecostal Christian family. My dad is a Pentecostal pastor, and I was born into that setting. But I began to experience some awakening, in terms of understanding what God is, what life is, and seeing that it's not really correlating with what I was made to believe growing up. So I began to make my own individual exploration. So in 2020, I had gotten to a 5 year, point where I was already satiated with all the information I had. I was praying to God for something deeper. In fact, I literally prayed that I didn't even want to read a book, because at that point I had read so many books from so many religious philosophies and from so many niche of life as regard God, spirituality, and what life or my purpose in life is supposed to be about. So I needed something more, something that would usher me into the new level of spiritual experience rather than intellectual knowledge and information. So that was the phase I was, and I made some very honest prayer. I can still remember the day vividly in my mind when I actually made that request, and that culminated in me finding the UB. As usual, when a very close friend of mine who is also a truth seeker, who was also on the path with me, found the book first before me and sent me the link to the book, that hey, I found this book. He said it was written by celestial personalities. I was like, what? Celestial personalities? For real? I said, okay, let me see what's in the book to know if it's celestial personalities that really wrote the book or it's just bullshit. Right? So I got the book, and in January 2020, I started reading the book. I started from the forward, and I read the entire book in about 9 months, and it ushered me into a new dimension of thinking and a new dimension of understanding of God and the spiritual economy. And since then, I've been an Urantia book reader. I am devoted to still studying the book, and I plan to read the entire book once every 4 years. So I read it the first time in 2020, I read it the second time in 2024, I'll read it the third time in 2028, read the fourth time in 2032, just like that till I leave Urantia. And then after all my, learnings and new information and experiences, I've also taken it upon myself to share this truth with as many truth seekers that are on the path that are also looking for, something like this to push them to the next level. So unfortunately for me, I started connecting with UB readers around the world. I started joining the UBIS courses to learn more, study the Urantia book in different teams. I joined the Urantia University Institute courses to also, interact with readers. And I found CMC, Christ Michael Center, which is a UB-based church here in Africa that has study centers all across Nigeria, and I've actively been part of that, helping other truth seekers find the UB in my neighborhood in Nigeria and different parts of Nigeria, and actually having study groups where we meet face to face and we meet virtually to study, the UB and grow spiritually. And then it has led to us even taking our effort from the face to face and virtual study as in the Melchizedek University, which is something we're trying to replicate, within our realm and ability and means, to now going out there and reaching people generally, reaching people that may not even know about the UB online, trying to leverage on the current technological innovations, social media, AI tools to actually push the truth out there. And that gave birth to Mission 606, which is something I'm really, really passionate about, helping, to spread the Ransha book in a relatable way, in an understandable way, and in a fun way that will make a lot of people want to know what is even this UB. Can I get a copy? Can I, find a copy? Can I get a hard copy? And then stimulate them to read the book and then have their own personal experiences and have their own revelation. Because I believe that doing this would bring us, even if it's some micro degree closer to light and life, or some micro degree closer to the understanding of a larger reality that we humans should have. And hopefully it's help us, emerge from the spiritual darkness that has been hovering around the earth due to the rebellion and isolation into a world where we are more spiritually connected, and then we are more in tune with the will of the Father and the will for humanity. So that being said, that's just a brief introduction of my UB journey so far. Currently, I'm also part of the Ransha Foundation Teacher Education Program, where they equip UB readers to be experienced teachers and help promote the truth of the UB. So, so I would like to share my screen and dive right into my presentation. Okay. So our true identity and synergy with the thought adjuster for everyday living. So this presentation is to open the eyes of UB readers, especially young and new UB readers, to the true nature of our being as adjuster fused mortals and cosmic citizens, using the example of the life of Jesus. So living from the inside out, most of us, or humanity in general, at least at this point of our evolution, live from the outside in. We think we are our backgrounds, we think we are our failures, our denomination, even our Urantia book knowledge. But revelation isn't insist on something far bigger. Inside you, inside every one of us, there's a fragment of God. And our destiny is to become one with this fragment of God that is inside us. Today, we'll look at who we truly are, why the thought adjuster is the key, and how Jesus showed us what a fully God revealing human looks like. Because Christ actually came to reveal the full and highest capacity of an adjuster fused mortal. He came to demonstrate it and make us have an understanding of that from how we live this life. So, what are the core facts of our identity? What are the core facts that God lives within us? So our adjuster is the truest part of us. The UB tells us that the Father actually shares himself with us through the thought adjusters. That adjuster is the truest part of us and the part that knows the way back to God. And our thought adjuster it blows my mind that our thought adjuster is an actual and literal part of God. And that's why we as adjusters fuse mortal, even if we are kind of limited in our origin, you know, our capacity still even amazes the celestial personalities because they know how grand, how powerful, how magnificent the thought adjusters are. Most celestial personalities have not seen God the Father, and the only manifestation of God the Father that is available for immediate experience to most celestial beings is the thought adjuster, and they don't even have you know a personal relationship with this thought adjuster, but we do. We've been assigned these thought adjusters to guide us and lead us back to God. And then there's an eternal relationship, you know, personality from the Father, adjuster also from the Father, equals to a personality, a relationship that can survive death and go on forever. Meaning that we are potentially immortals already, and that is our true identity. So identity is not first, I am Nigerian, I am American, I am clergy, I am a UB reader. It is I am a child of the Father, currently indwelt, currently being spirit led. And our identity is received and not constructed. Our mortal identity, our human identity may be constructed from our situations, from our place of birth, from our social environment, from our interactions and associations, and then from our internal choices. But our true identity is received from the thought adjuster, because the thought adjuster comes with the model personality, with the model career, with the model, you know, life that we should have. And all we just need to do is just receive it by what? Attuning with the thought adjuster and working with the thought adjuster and being spirit led. That way, we just merely receive our identity rather than trying to actively construct it as in our mortal identities. And the pattern person for all this is Jesus Onorantia. So the UB says Jesus didn't just come to die, he came to live a life that would show us that God is like, or is to live a life that will show us what God is like and what humans can become. Jesus constantly said, I do the will of my Father. That's adjuster alignment language. He was the creator's son, yes, but his human life showed perfect cooperation between human will and divine will. Our present status versus our final status. Most of us are not yet adjuster fuse. That's ahead. After we prove we truly want the Father's will, but we are ready. Right now, we are ready. All we just have to do is put ourselves in a position where we prove to God, we prove to our adjuster that we're actually ready for the next level. And then we prove all this by the decisions and the actions we make in our lives. Life, the Supreme is constantly presenting us with supreme situations. You know, key deciding moments in our life where we make a key decision in our life that either moves us closer to God or move us away from God. So one thing that I rate is the ability to identify or recognize these supreme situations when a supreme decision needs to be made. And then being able to make the right decision in this situation bring us closer to our adjuster, helps adjuster alignment, grow better and help us commune better with the Spirit of God, within us. So there's the personality endowment, there's an adjuster endowment, and then there's the eternal potential. In terms of the personality endowment, we are real to God. In terms of the adjuster endowment, we are already in contact with God. And our choices now count forever, meaning that even if we are currently at the planetary phase of our existence, our spiritualized decisions and actions are something that is part of our eternal memory, meaning that a million years from now, when we may be in Jerusalem or in the local universe headquarters or somewhere in the universe or somewhere in the Moronsha world, we will be able to remember some of our interactions here on earth that we are making right now. Even this this Zoom call that we are having, we may remember it, if it's linked to some very spiritual, transformations that we are having right now. So it shows that our choices are not mortally restricted to this realm or this dimension of existence, right? Our choices count forever, and then they become part of our eternal memory, especially the spiritualized, the ones that led to spiritual meanings and values in our life. So instead, we UB readers should think like this: I am a fusion mortal. Fusion is the direction of my life. I am a cosmic citizen in training. I belong to something bigger than my nationality and generation. And one key thing that stands out to me with recognizing our cosmic citizenship is that it actually begins to give us the power to act as cosmic citizen. So if you are, more earthly speaking, if you are a heir to a very powerful king, a very powerful monarch, right? And you don't know about it. The way you would act, the way you would interact would not come from that place of power and ability. But if you are of such immense heritage and you know about it, the way you carry yourself, the way you act, the way you interact, you begin to manifest more power and more potency in our life and earthly decisions. So we recognizing our cosmic citizenship despite our current our current Urantia residence gives us some form of power, dominance, and control, to take charge of our earthly experiences as adjuster fused mortals, as citizens of a larger cosmos, as citizens of a larger universe, knowing that I belong to something bigger than my nationality. So I'm not just a Nigerian, I'm not just an African, and at the same time, I'm not just an Orantian. I am a member of the cosmic citizenship of Nebadon, even right here. However, in actuality, I will gain full awareness of that probably when I, begin my studies and my experiences in Nebadon. But the journey has begun right here and right now, and I'm aware. So the awareness of our status as cosmic citizens help give us the ability to live a more superior life. There are some challenges that you will go through in life, and just the this perspective will help you see things clearly and make better decisions. Your decisions will have an eternal orientation rather than immortal orientation. When you're going through trials and tribulations, ups and downs, you will have an eternal perspective, not immortal perspective. When you're about to make decisions that affect the life and destinies of other people and yourself, you consider all this from a grand celestial perspective rather than a localized Orantian, national, ethnic, tribal perspective, right? And then the third statement here is I am already known at higher levels. Seraphim, well, we all of us right now on this call have guardian seraphims, whether personal or not, right? We have thought adjusters, and the system records all recognize us, meaning that we have a label, we have an identity somewhere recorded that links back to us. So, in addition to our mortal identity and our mortal citizenship, where we have our records somewhere, in our countries, in our states, we also have our records somewhere, you know, and in the on the higher levels, on the higher plane, in the Morunshia worlds, we have our records there, and we are actually known. Why does this matter? When you know where you're heading, that is fusion and finality, you stop living small. When you know where you're heading, and where we are heading is fusion and finality, meaning fusion with our thought adjusters in this on this planet or on any of the mansion world, and attaining the membership in the cup of mortal finality to begin the journey into the ultimate. You cannot know all these things and live small. Whether you are being bombarded by limiting mortal factors, you don't think from those limitations because your identity has been fixed on your eternal self, not on your mortal self. So you cannot just help but come from that higher perspective and that higher understanding. Now, what blocks the real identity? If this is so glorious, why do we still live small? So some of the blockages that we may have is over identification with the material self, that is your body, your emotions, and your roles. Your role, oh, I am a teacher in so state from so place. I am a doctor, I am a dentist, I am a trader, I'm a businessman. Oh, I am such a person. This is how I react to the world. I'm an emotional person. Oh, I'm such a person that has so and so physical disabilities. Or I'm such a person that has so and so physical abilities. You know. So let's not fall into the trap of over identification with our mortal self, even if there's a high tendency to do that because we are, primarily mortals within our current reality frame. You know, we are mortals, we live in a mortal plane, we have a mortal vehicle, which is our body, which our consciousness animates, right? But we should not be so attached to this vehicle of consciousness. We should recognize that we are spirits, utilizing our body to gain mortal experiences, not bodies that have spirits. We are spirits with bodies. So our bodies are like receptors that help us, interact in this particular dimension of reality. And when we leave this dimension of reality, we leave this physical body behind and we gain a higher body, the Moronsha body, which is still another vehicle. And we continue to gain vehicles like that endlessly. So, because in our mortal lifetime, we are mostly isolated in consciousness to a particular mortal body, there's that tendency to get stuck on the image of that mortal body and link our identity to that body. By the time we die, that's when a lot of people would have a realization that, oh, I'm not actually my body, and I'm not even actually my mind. I'm something more. Because when you begin to ascend on the Moronsha world and begin to have the Moronsha changes, even from Mansion World 1 to Mansion World 7 and to Jerusalem, we're having about 8 transformations, right? In the constellation, we're having 71 transformations, Moronsha transformations. And in Lebanon, in Salvington, the local universe headquarters, we're having 491 transformations. So for the fact that we are witnessing only one physical vehicle throughout our mortal existence should not make us anchor our identity so much on that mortal vehicle. So another limitation is religious smallness, thinking God is only in one group or one ritual, meaning God is only in this religion or God is only in this part of this religion, or you only interact with God when you engage in some rituals. So that religious smallness is also part of the blockages that we have that prevent us from experiencing our real identity. Another thing is fear of the Father's will. Because a lot of people, when they think about the Father, they think about judgment, they think about condemnation, they see themselves as sinners, they are not righteous. Oh, and they have so many philosophies and ideologies to back that mindset up, such as, oh, Adam fell, we are descendants of Adam, and since Adam has fallen, we are all born in sin. They just have all this limiting mindset that keep them perpetually in the fear of the universal Father. So when they think about the will of God, when they think about karma, they don't think about a positive connotation. They think about something negative because they feel they are doing something wrong, or there's a part of their life that the Father is not happy with. Therefore, the Father looks, distastefully on them, or frowns on them. So recognizing the Father's will from the UB perspective shows us that it means enlargement, a larger perspective, a grand perspective, and a cosmic perspective. So we should not, affiliate any fear when we think about the Father. Another source of blockage is forgetting the adjuster is actually leading. The adjuster is actually leading, whether you know it or not, whether you are conscious or not, whether you try to or not. However, we as Urantia book readers, we as people that want to, as we that are cosmic citizens, we actively seek to identify the adjuster's leading and obey it. But we should always know that the thought adjuster takes the front seat, and everything that is happening in our life, the thought adjuster is aware and he has permitted it. Even some of the unfavorable things, those are roadblocks that lead us into the realization of who we are. Because as we've come to learn from the UB and from reality itself, we humans only learn in adversity. We don't learn in ease and satisfaction. We learn when things are not really going well. But as cosmic citizens, we will not limit ourselves to that dimension of learning, meaning that we will not only wait for adversities before we begin to learn. We can now start learning even when things are not in a troublesome situations. We can now still learn and grow in our relationship with our adjuster by allowing it take the lead and trying to be sensitive to the leadings of thought adjuster and obeying those leading. So the Urantia book's answer is never for us to deny our humanity, rather to integrate it under the leadership of the God within. So
Wow.
we're not denying our mortality.
Oh, good, isn't he?
We are not denying our mortality, rather, we are seeking to integrate our identity, into the larger cosmic reality, using our thought adjuster as the bridge. And that is the most significant bridge that God Himself has provided for us. So, how the UB defines who we truly are? What are some pointers from the UB that define who we truly are? When we think about ourselves, what should we be thinking about? Firstly, personality. And personality, as we know it,
So
is is
beautifully done, eh?
is related to the personality circuit of the universal Father, because God is the God of the universal Father, is the God of all personalities. So I am a personality from the Father, and that is my uniqueness. And I am unique within the personality circuit of the universal Father, each and every one of us. Then we also have a divine indwelling. I am indwelt by a thought adjuster from the Father. That is my divine compass. I can never get lost. You can never get lost. We can make mistakes, we can make errors, we can err in judgment, but we can never get lost. It is impossible for us to get lost because we have a compass, we have a guide, we have a pilot light that leads us back home. Thirdly, I am an evolving soul. I am evolving a soul out of the decisions I make with God. That is my growing Moronsha self. Fourthly, I am destined for fusion. I am destined for fusion to become one with that adjuster. That's my eternal credential. Then the universe family. I am part of a universe family. I have cosmic citizenship. I am not isolated. That is my belonging. So when we put all this together, true identity equals a beloved child of the universal Father, choosing to become like him in cooperation with his divine fragment and in service to the universe. So there's no way you will cooperate with your divine adjuster and you will not serve. In fact, I find that the platform or the manifold for our growth is in realizing our cosmic citizenship and manifesting that realization in service, in loving service of our mortal brothers, of our communities, of our neighborhoods, in any way we find ourselves, we will always look for a way to serve. Because you cannot find God and not want to share God with others. And you don't necessarily need to share God by coming to preach to them. You can share God by how you love them. People will have to wonder that this person is unique. For some reason, they cannot put a finger on it, but they can tell that this person is different, right? So that's part of the way we can serve others by sharing our enlightenment in loving service with others. So using Jesus as the living illustration, why the part 4 of the Urantia book is very, very important, in my opinion, is that it gives us a living practical template of how to manifest cosmic citizenship right here on Urantia. If we had gotten the part 1 and part 2 and part 3 of the UB without getting the part 4, we'll have had an understanding of cosmic arrangement and alignment and philosophies. We'll have had an understanding of cosmology, the cosmology of the universe. We'll have had an understanding or an impression about the nature and attributes of God, but we will not have a living practical example of how to manifest that cosmic citizenship right here on Urantia. If you point to Adam and Eve, somebody can say Adam and Eve was a material son. After he was never truly human. You can point to Caligastia, the planetary prince. Somebody will tell you, oh, he's a secondary Lunadic son, so he's not in our level. So Jesus Christ having to be born into our race, into our planet, and have that mundane, everyday, practical experiences and still manifest God and show us what it's like to live with the awareness of our cosmic citizenship and do the will of the Father. If you notice, Jesus constantly referred to the Father within and above. He was always talking about the Father's will, the Father's will, the Father's will, the Father's will. He validated human experience. He had a normal childhood. In fact, he had a rough childhood. None of us will have it as rough as Jesus Christ. Literally, even we down here in Africa, none of us will have it as rough as Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ literally lost his father at 14, became the father brother of his 7 siblings, and his pregnant mother was still expecting a child. Right? This is like a very bright kid that was supposed to go to Jerusalem on some scholarship, and then all that was truncated and he became a dropout, educational dropout. He became a dropout. He began to do menial job. He began to cater for his family as a teenager. No one of us will have it as rough as Jesus Christ. He had to work. He had to work for a period of time, for a significant period of time, whereby he was not even as invested in his eternal mission. Right? He had to make friends. He had to engage in friendship, and he had to be disappointed. He had to go through the normal human emotion of disappointment. Yet, He always acted from inner authority, the alignment with divine purpose. That's the model for adjuster guidance, for adjuster guided mortals. Fully human and fully loyal to God. So if you study the life of Christ in the Urantia book, it gives us, you can draw out a structure, a pathway for even our individual lives. Knowing that yes, there will be a time where you may have to solve the problem of survival, which is problem of money. Meaning that there will be a time where you have to wrestle with what will I eat, what will I drink, how can I provide for my family, how can I make a living, how can I be functional in this society without being deprived or without being a beggar. And we have to deal with that for a period of time. Now, what can we learn from the example of Jesus Christ when we're in this phase? Because some of us may be in this phase. Now, if you look at the life of Jesus Christ from the Urantia book, when he was in this phase, even if he was not so busy going about his father's business, he was constantly in communion with the Father, meaning that from time to time he will retreat into meditation. From time to time he will isolate himself to commune with God, meaning that if you and I are in this phase of our life where we may not be so invested in public ministry because we're trying to fix our mortal lives together, we're trying to survive. Why are you trying to survive? Why are you trying to make money? Why are you trying to work 2 jobs? Why are you working 16 to 18 hours in a day? Make sure you have that time reserved to commune with your adjuster. We know it works because that is what Jesus did. Jesus did it and it worked. So you don't have an excuse to say, oh, because I'm busy chasing money, I don't have time to pray, I don't have time to meditate, I don't have time to commune with God. That's not an excuse because Jesus Christ had to deal with that and he found a way around it. So it's only right that we learn from the example of Jesus. Okay, we should know that because we're in this mortal plane and we're interested in we are cosmic citizens, it does not mean that we are not going to work. There may be a phase of your life where you have to work and then you have to deal with disappointment, right? And if you look at the life of Christ, you also notice that after that active phase of, labor where there was no much returns because of the kind of work he was doing, because he was in alignment with his inner thought adjuster, with his inner guide, the inner compass, he was able to grow to a point where he acquired a source of living that was more favorable for him, which was when he became an interpreter and had to travel around the world. That is another level of work. So there's the first level of work where it's pure survival, and there's the second level of work where you're able to now gain some form of dominance and control. Meaning that if we follow the example of Christ and we push through this very trying moment where we just need to survive, and while pushing through, we still stay in alignment with our thought adjuster. If we continue to do that, we will move up to a level where we are more in control, even if we are working. And we have the proof that it works because Jesus did it. And from the point where he was now more free to travel around the world while working as an interpreter, doing different things, interacting with the world, he began to globalize his mind and perspective by meeting other people, meaning that you and I should also anticipate such level on our own growth, where we globalize our interaction like we are doing here on this Zoom call, where we have different people from all around the world and we even need an interpreter. So we should know that level is something that we should plan for. And then the level above that is the level where we've developed a structure that caters for our mortal survival, like Jesus Christ did. He did it by working his ass off. He did it by setting himself into a position where he didn't need to work his ass as much. And then eventually he formed a system by interacting with people and forming organization of some sort that now helps him focus on public ministry. So part of the agent for the structure that Christ had is David Zebedee. That organizational structure that David Zebedee did was part of the foundation on which Jesus Christ was now free to focus fully on his public ministry. And then he had to work with people, which were now the disciples that he had to train, meaning that we ourselves, we must get ready to also interact with other truth seekers and other light bearers. And by following this example of Christ, we can see where we are at, we can see where we are going to, we can prepare or we can plan and succeed where we are at by following the example of Christ. We can prepare for the next steps by looking at the example of Christ and seeing how he overcame them, and then learning from his example and also planning to overcome them. So Christ is the model reality. If Jesus walked the streets of Rancha as a universe son and still honor the Father's indwelling presence, then we, ordinary mortals, can learn to live from the inside out. Jesus showed us not only what God is like, he showed us what we can be like when we choose the Father's will. So now, what are the practices that can, bring out this our true identity? Daily alignment. Daily alignment. You must have a time daily where you commune. Whether you call it prayer, whether you call it meditation, whether you call it contemplation, whether you call it anything, you must have a time daily where you commune with the Father. Tell the Father, Father, I choose you. Let your will be done. Adjuster, interpret the Father's will for me. Adjuster, show me your divine will and help me do your divine will. Then we must also have identity check. When ego, when fear or labels rise, that's not the biggest part of me. Let's know that. So there will be times where we'll be tempted to fall to our mortal identity. And this temptation will come from other mortal agents that we're interacting with in society. Somebody can say something nasty at you, somebody can spoil you to anger, somebody can harass you. So that moment where your ego wants to creep up to defend himself. Do you know who I am? Why are you talking to me like this? Why you do, let's watch out for our ego. Also, when we are hit with some life troubling situations and circumstances and we're about to, crawl back into our shadow as mortal beings, let's remember, no, that is not the biggest part of me. That is not my true identity. Then let's have a service mindset. Cosmic citizens serve. The UB shows us so much example of that. Is there any celestial personality you've read in the UB that is not serving? They are all serving one way or the other. So we represent the Father's love on whatever world we stand. So since we're on Rancha, we are representing the Father's love here in our service. That means when anybody interacts with us, we should be able to convey some level of the Father's love to that person. Whether the person is a Christian, Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, panentheist, whatever belief system, whatever ism the person belongs to, right? We should be able to convey the love of the Father to that person. And then fourthly, study and worship. UB says worship enlarges capacity. The bigger the capacity, the more the adjuster can do in that person's life. So in addition to daily alignment, identity check, and service mindset, we must actually study. We must actually expand our model of reality, expand our understanding of life, expand our understanding of the universe, cosmology, expand our understanding of what is possible, right? And then we must be able to engage in worship. That's moment of communion with deity in such a way that it enlarges our capacity and gives the thought adjuster more room to act in our life. These are practical things we need to do. So let's look at our lives right now. Are we doing these 4 things? Are we doing some of these things? Is there something we need to still, keep on doing better? Is there something we need to learn to do? If we're not serving, can we begin to serve others? If we are not studying as much and engaging in worshipful communion with deity, can we begin to do that? If we are not anchoring our identity so much on our cosmic citizenship, can we begin to do that? If we are not having sessions where we are aligning with God daily because we feel we are too busy. Jesus was more busy than you. Jesus was more busy than you and I. But he found time for daily alignment. So, finally, in conclusion, who are we? We are not accidents of biology, like some people believe. Some people will tell you, life originated from abiogenesis. There is no God anywhere. Everything happened by random permutation, by accident. We are not prisoners of cultures. That means we are not in prison of the belief systems and the environment we find ourselves. We are not mere religionists. We are emerging adjuster-fused beings, sons and daughters of the universal Father, meant for universe service, and we recognize that, and we have begun our universe service down here on Rancha. The Urantia book pulls the curtain back so we stop living like orphans in a friendly universe. If this is who you really are, what part of your life needs to rise to meet that today? Let's think about that and let's take action. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope the Holy Spirit has been able to lay some things in our hearts, give us some insight, and hopefully the thought adjuster will use some of what we've learned and what we've discussed in this presentation to further discuss and dialogue with us personally. All this conversation we've just had is a prompt for our thought adjuster to follow up on us within our individual life and relationship with thought adjuster. Thank you very much, and God bless you. So I don't know, the floor is open to any question, comment, or contribution. The floor is open.
Yes, thank you so much, Daniels. Yes, colleagues, the microphone is open for anybody that wants to speak. Just if you wanted to ask a question or if you wanted to make a comment or any reflection, just raise your hands and we'll call you. Please go ahead, Paul Kemp. I think you're muted, Paul. Please go ahead, Paul. Very well. Thank you so much, Paul. Ramon, please go ahead, Ramon. Yes. Very good afternoon to everybody present. My best wishes to everyone and congratulations to the speaker and congratulations in English. The truth is, what a beautiful explanation. I loved it. From all the brothers and sisters, I loved all your explanations. And our Nigerian brothers or our African brothers and sisters have a great perspective, which is extremely advanced because of the humanity that they have had to live specifically in time and space where they're actually located. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you, Ramon. Anybody else? Well, as you've heard, colleagues, the majority of the people that commented are actually expressing our satisfaction in seeing how these young dynamic people like Daniels are shedding so much light based on these revelations. Personally, I noticed that this was a very concise presentation, a very direct presentation, went straight to the point, very well drafted. Thank you so much, Daniels. We hope to continue to count on you in the future for other talks to elaborate on other issues as well. Would you like to add any final thoughts to your points or to whatever you wanted to say, or does anybody else want to say something? Bilial, please go ahead, Bilial. You wanted to say something?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It ministered to me mightily. And I just wanted to touch on the fact that us being self-conscious and being aware that we're not orphans and of who we are and our destiny has a very powerful influence on our lives, on our reality. And this will allow us to have a spiritual self-realization, because the mind can never exhaust the capacity for self-realization, either in this world and the worlds to come. It is important for us to actually dwell on these and have practical impacts. Impact. You can take the spiritual to the physical and have a physical impact on you, have an impact on your mind, have an impact on your heart, and this would manifest on the outside as service to your man. And most importantly, if you don't take anything from this, if you're going to take anything from this, remember, you are always going to have to make decisions. Never make your decisions alone. You've got a divine fragment of God that is with you to assist you, to help you, to pilot you, to guide you, to inspire you, to show you, to love you. It will be with you till the end, till you become one. So thank you very, very much. I enjoyed that. And we love coming out over here and fellowshipping with our Latin American brethren. We love you so much. And one of these days, you're going to see us up over here speaking Spanish. You're going to see us speaking Spanish, baby.
Yes, of course. That would be wonderful to hear you in Spanish as well. And we as well. There's many of us that are trying to fight hard so we can soon be able to express ourselves in English. And well, now, Paul Kim, please go ahead again.
I think Paul is muted. I can't hear him.
I can hear you now. Carol, can you hear him now?
No, I'm not hearing him. I can hear everybody else, but not Paul.
Okay, what you do is that go to your language option, the English, unmute original audio. So if you do that, you should be able to hear him.
Okay. Okay.
Answering Paul's question, yes, we, the hosts of this call, Rancho Mexico, is recording this, and we will provide a link. And this will be on the YouTube, on the Rancho Mexico website, on the Rancho Mexico YouTube. We're also going to send this recording to the youth group, the Rancho International Youth Group as well.
Yes, I'll get it. Yes, I'll get it and send it to you.
Yeah. Then if I could just quick, I forgot to make an introduction. This is Paul Kemp and his wife Monica. They're with the Spiritual Family Net. They are longtime readers and ministers. They're laboring. We work with them in Africa, and they're very, very supportive, great people. And Monica, this is either one of them would be a great person to actually give a talk also. There she is. There she is. There she is. And so this is the group I told you about. They're, it's a young group. They're from all over all over Latin America. We've got people in Venezuela, in Mexico, in Chile. Sometimes some people in Brazil come through, and it's just a great thing. And this is every single month. So depending on the speaker, they kind of choose the days. So this is something that we can kind of work out. And it's just also another way to actually, aside from what we are doing, to come out and just fellowship with some other people. So that's it. So anyway, I'll give you her information, and you guys can speak. You can type her in English, she'll type you back, and you guys can figure it out. But she's great. They're all great, all of them.
Wonderful. If Paul, do you have another comment, Paul? Paul, you have your hand raised? No? Very well. Yes, of course. Very soon we will try to send you the link with the video as well, so you can post it. And Irene, you have a comment? Yes. Well, thank you so much to everybody that is present. Daniel's excellent presentation. The topic that you gave us is one of the topics, which is something that is a basic thing that in Mexico we think is important. The thought adjuster, some of the most important teachings, and general people that Christ Michael gave us a spirit of truth, but they don't know that that came after Pentecost to the thought adjuster, and then the spiritual secret and the spirit of truth. And now each of us after that everyone has a thought adjuster now. So the Rancho book is a parting of water, because now everybody knows. And this is even said in the Bible. They speak about the spiritual helper, the Holy Spirit, and another helper that came to us. And John, the book of John in the New Testament, it actually tells us that he was going to send another helper because the Holy Spirit was already there. However, many people still confuse these different personalities. And the Rancho book lets us know that this is the thought adjuster. It makes it much more digestible. So your presentation that you just made is completely impressive, really, and sheds light on the people that still don't have that news and people don't have that understanding clear in their mind, because there's a lot of confusion still. So as Paul said, this book is truly a very important revelations, and the people need to begin to digest it, begin to read it, and begin to interact with it. And these talks that we're having every month, that's the purpose of these talks. Obviously, Urantia Mexico and Urantia Youth, Urantia International. I've been trying to speak with more and more people from other locations like Alejandra and many other people. We want to unite our forces and the youth worldwide, because sometimes we have language barriers, or sometimes we have different barriers or situations that we don't know each other. We think that we're alone. No, we're reading alone, but there's so many other people. There's so many of us that have this knowledge, and we need to join our forces. And I wanted to congratulate you, Daniels, because you have that challenge of reading that book every 4 years, like you said, and you're accomplishing this, and you're doing this exceptionally. And well, I invite everybody to continue to participate in our sessions. Anybody that's here is also invited to also give a talk as well in the Urantia Youth Group at an international level. This group is open to all of you. We've been doing this for 5 years right now. We've had a lot of turnouts, and in the congresses where we go, we meet new people, and new people will want to come and speak. And we invite each and every one of you that are here, that anybody that did want to give another talk or give, just let us know and we will schedule you. This is a topic that you are free to choose any topic from the Urantia book. This isn't like sometimes they ask us, what do you want us to speak about? No, whatever you think is better, as long as the Urantia book teaching. And it's whatever you feel more comfortable with, whatever you're more identified with, the part of the book that you feel most close to. So feel free to come and ask us that you want to give us talks. Every speaker is free and invited to come and to give us a talk. And maybe your thought adjuster will lead you to the appropriate topic. And well, I invite everybody to continue to participate. And well, and Asael's comments. At the end of the month, we hope to have the link and the video edited on YouTube, and we'll send you the link as soon as we have it at the end of the month. And obviously, Daniel, the topic of the thought adjusters is something that we need to consider every single day. We have to always think about that communion you spoke about, like the communion that Michael had with his thought adjuster. We need to mimic that as well. And that path he showed us, the roadmap he showed us, so will lead to greater truths, and that will lead us to that eternal life and that fusion with the thought adjuster. And once again, thank you very much to everybody for participating in this session. If anybody wants to say any closing remarks or any final comments or any words or any congratulations for Daniel, whatever, we'll open up the floor for anybody to speak. Well, very well. I wanted to also give a special gratitude to Serapis Murillo, whom is actually helping us with the translation today into English and Spanish. So this work would not be possible, these sessions would not be possible if he would not be supporting us and supporting us. We know that this is a completely altruistic labor of love, and we are very thankful with him as well, because you are allowing these language barriers to be broken, or at least minimizing them. Thank you so much, Serapis. Very well. Rosalind, did you wanted to say something? Did you want to comment? I see that you have your microphone activated. Rosalind, would you like to say something? No? Okay. Well, if everything was already said, then we thank you again for having participated in this virtual session. Blessings to everyone, and I will end my transmission. Oh, Bilal, go ahead. Bilal, but your microphone is muted. Your microphone is muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Please, before we leave, can everybody just at least, can we get to know who's on? I see someone, Chuyita. If you could just tell us who you are, we can get some energy from you. We can remember you in our prayers. I look forward to this, and I think it'll help me to take something with me. So when I'm missing you guys, I can be like, oh, my brother, my sister in this place. So if we could do that, if we could start from top to bottom, everybody. And if you could turn your camera on just so we can see your face. So we can start.
Well, my brother William and Bilal, sorry. My name is Ramon Humberto Mora from Venezuela. My name is Asael Nunez from Rancho, Mexico. I'm Irene from Mexico City.
Who else?
Hello, everybody. How's everybody? We are Chuyita Antonio. We're all from Mexico. It's a pleasure to get you. Blessings to everybody.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, and Daniel, you can do the same thing. Daniel Nabimaya. And the rest of us, yes. Thank you, thank you. And then we can go down. We got Gumpy Andrew Cohen. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. We've got Pastor Carol. It's my pastor, everybody.
Hi, everybody. This is Carol, Pastor Carol Akamune of the Christ Michael Center. I work as the global lead coordinator of the Christ Michael Center. And at the moment, we have Urantia book study groups, aka cell groups, we call them. Cell groups across 7 countries. Some of them meet face to face. Some of them have not grown to a stage where they meet face to face, where they have a WhatsApp platform where they interact online. And some of our groups meet on Google Meet, for example, a video conference platform online as well. So we use a variety of options to meet and interact, encourage one another. We are passionate about sharing the undiluted, we like to emphasize that word, undiluted gospel that Jesus presented, with brothers and sisters all over the world. And this topic that Brother Daniels, Dr. Daniels, he's a dentist anyway, for those of you who may not know, he's a dentist. Dr. Daniels shared on the thought adjuster is so crucial because with a relationship, a personal, one-on-one, heart-to-heart, conversational relationship with your thought adjuster, the mystery monitor, God the Father in you, your life, any and every area of your life is going to be totally transformed to the glory of the Heavenly Father. And you'll be a very, very, very effective truth seeker, light worker, kingdom believer in the Father's vineyard. So relationship with the TA, thought adjuster, is so crucial and should be taken very, very seriously. With that, you can really work with your Heavenly Father, being a blessing to yourself and to others. You see, it bothers us at the Christ Michael Center that the Urantia book, which is about, we would say, 1955 to now, 80 years, that should be 80 years, 1955, if my mathematics would do me right. 45 plus 25, about 70 years of publication. It's little known worldwide. Well, it should not be that way. Some people may not agree with my position, but I and brothers and sisters working with me at the Christ Micro Center, we hold that position very firmly. It should not be that way. We have souls that are dying out there, souls hungry for truth. And we have this amazing revelation, the fifth epochal revelation, that would really do a lot in the lives of these souls. And some of us are just sitting, doing little or nothing, giving excuses, misinterpreting UB scriptures as to why we're not be able to, why we are not being impactful. No. So we're out there globally. And that is one of the reasons we are with you guys, working with you guys. And we are in partnerships with different groups, individuals, organizations around the world. And these partnerships will increase. And on our own as well, in partnership with Divinity, we're doing so much. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started. There's so much more for us to do. And in humility and in service to God and humanity, we are out there working night and day, regardless of what anyone will say to the contrary, and regardless of what anyone would say as to, well, we got to wait 1,000 years before the Urantia book will penetrate the nooks and crannies of planet Urantia. No, we're not waiting 1,000 years. Glory to God. I'll leave it at that for now. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. Stay blessed. Love you. I'm in Maryland in the United States. And Kara Akamune, you can catch me on YouTube and Facebook, just with my name, Karo Akamune. With time, I'll get to know you all better. You will get to know me better. You get to know, we get to know one another better and work together in love, in humility, in harmony, to the glory of God in Avona.
And I see we have Moses. Moses, say hi. Can you turn on your camera? Say hi to our brethren all over the world. Let them see your beautiful face.
Greetings, everyone. Sorry, I can't go live because it's dark here. We don't have light.
Okay.
Yes, I'm glad to be among us all. Thank you, Brother Daniel, for such a wonderful sharing. And I'm happy to be here with all of you. I'm Gwagzin Moses from CMC, Jos. I'm a coordinator. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, thank you. And then we have Oladapo Daniel. This is the other Daniel. We got two Daniels in Mission 606. He can't talk right now at the moment, but he's there. And then we've got Rosaline, Sister Rosaline. How you doing, baby? Rosaline. Well, she's also in Jos, and then we've got Serapis. We've got Serapis. So thank you very much, everybody. We love you. We love fellowshipping with you, and keep us in mind. We'll keep you in mind. We are with you. We are all together. Thank you very, very much.
Very well. Blessings to everybody. We'll see each other. Greetings.